Can you be mature enough emotionally and intellectually to go get the facts yourself and look at what I'm talking about? That's what I did. I didn't believe all these people one way or the other. I had them talking to me, oh, it's great. Oh, it's just terrible. I went and got the facts. Hey, Tim here, and today we're going to cover one of the most, I think relevant and I think important questions that I get asked all the time. So I wanted to make sure I'm represented here and, kind of cover it with you guys. So I get asked all the time. So I want to the percentages are outrageous if you look at all the data trackers of just, let's take America, but this is true globally. In America, the percentage of people, it's across all age groups, okay? The percentage of people that want to make an additional $300, $400, $500 a month with a side hustle, something like that, a couple $100 a month. Now they may want to make more, but that's the first step, right? Let me get something going where I can generate some extra part-time cash, a side hustle, whatever we want to call that, a month. So the first thing I want to tell you is, number one, you have got, and these are all my opinions, of course, but I'm going to be very strong with how I feel because it's based on my 30 years of experience. It's based on creating, an organization that did 30 million in sales last year and growing. All that's led up to that, I can be very strong about this answer when I'm asked this. Number one, the best way, the only way you want to look at making money is be in business for yourself. First of all, right? Study any wealthy. Remember, I'm bringing you all this stuff from all these massive, giant minds that I've studied and then applied it. And then current modern minds that are rocking and rolling, all of them point to you need to be in business, not be a wage earner. Okay? Now, being a wage earner is fine if that's how you got to feed your family. I'm not saying, but I'm saying let's work toward we are in business for ourselves. So that's keynote number one. Got to get that out of the way right away. And I could do 2 hours with you guys on why. Tax benefits. There's so many reasons why. The bottom line, I'll tell you, here's your nugget, your nutshell of the finance book on this, is that in the United States of America, the worst way to make money is be a wage earner, a W-2 wage earner. You're the most taxed. There's the most comes off the top without your say. The best way is to be in business for yourself and take that money other ways other than a wage earner. Completely, legally, ethically, by the code, it's built in. We aren't taught this in school, right? So this is why I get this question a lot. And before I go down the answer, I got to make sure we talk about what we've been talking about. First, we got to get into a position where you can be in business for yourself. Now, don't worry. That could be you form a little, DBA for your paper route. You're in business for yourself, right? That business is now being paid for that service, and then you decide what to do with that money. It's simple. It doesn't have to be I'm building a skyscraper. When we talk about you got to be in business for yourself. So if that's you and you're like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. No. We're going to go through all of that. And yes, you can. Just know, yes, you can. All right. Okay. So we know by now we've got to be in business for ourselves. But the real question is, what business? I don't know anything about business. Maybe you did, do, don't, I don't know. For me, as that 23-year-old U.S. Marine, I didn't have any capital. I didn't know how to access capital in the big business world. And on the small business side, a bank wasn't going to loan me much of anything, right? So I was stuck. And maybe you're stuck in, Tim, I know that I need to be in business for myself. However, I see all of these limitations, and we could spend how much time on listing that out, right? All of the obstacles. Now, can it be done? Yes, of course. People do it every day. The challenge, though, is the stats on the other side. So think about this for a second, right? Think about putting yourself through all you needed to do, getting the capital. Let's say you're selling a product, okay? So you got manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, quality control, all the employees, okay? Now think about if you actually, and some of you have and have done it successfully, but think about this. All the folks that go up that mountain let's say you're at the bottom and you're starting to climb. Many don't make it, right? So even after all of this effort, time, energy, money, research, heart, sweat, blood, right? They don't make it and the business never launches. Oh, my heart goes out, to folks that have had that happen. What about the stats on the other side of the summit where, okay, we go through it all, we make it, we open, we launch the business traditionally with all those things, we're massively in debt probably, and, tons of people on the payroll and all this stress and challenges, but dang it, we did it, right? Launch day. Now let's look at the other side of that in the next 5 years. How many of those amazing business owners survive and profit? And the answer is a lot don't. A lot don't. And so I looked at all that, right? And I said, bullshit, quite frankly. I don't want to go through all that. And I don't like my odds. I bet on myself, but I don't like those odds, those percentages that not the Better Business Bureau, but the Department of Labor posts on all these things. You can look up these stats I'm talking about. And I did that, and I stay current with that. So I just was like, what do I do here? And that's why, guys, Kiyosaki, Buffett, and so many others talk about this method of business, this method of distribution called network marketing. Why? Because all of those challenges that I just mentioned are eliminated. And think about a franchise. Why is McDonald's the number one franchise in the world, right? They're not selling burgers at all, by the way. They're building real estate holdings, but that's a whole nother class, right? So why are they the largest by volume? And certainly most stores, most units, et cetera, right? Any way you measure it, McDonald's is the king of the ring when it comes to the fast food franchise. So whether you like their product or don't, right? I don't particularly care for it because I know what goes in it, but I respect what they've done as a business. But think about this. The average age of a McDonald's employee is like low 20s, high teens. And you go, number one? Like, they got to have a lot of skilled people. They do, but the reason they're number one is not their burger. It's their system. How many pickles go on a McDonald's burger? I've looked it up. And then I actually verified it, right? I had to go check. So I went to how many pickles? 2 pickles. How many times? Every time. So now let's take it outside of McDonald's because you could say, okay, look, that's a franchise, Tim. Yes, right now we're getting it. So a franchise, we all know, and you can see the stats on this, inside of the traditional business world, there is no question that franchises have a much higher rate of success. Not 100%, but very close. Why? They figured out the product. They figured out the manufacturing. They figured out the warehousing. They figured out the marketing. They got the accounting. They got it all set up. And if you buy into the franchise, what are you buying into? The system. Oh, well, yeah, but just like on the other side of that summit, there's something these franchises don't really expand on. What is that? Well, why don't you go take a look at Subway or McDonald's? They're all publicly available. You can see if you were to do that, how much money you would need in the bank. That put me out age 23 right away. I could not access a franchise system that I knew was going to help me win. I knew they were out there. I couldn't. I was blocked. And I would say the masses are blocked. You're probably blocked. That even if you wanted to, you don't have enough liquid assets, you don't have enough net worth, you don't have enough whatever the checklist is. Now, there are exceptions. I'm just telling you, this is a big obstacle. And even if you cross it and you get the franchise and you go through the training and they pick your site and you get there and you open and you launch. Remember, we were talking, you launch, but now you're in the franchise system. So now you launch. Do you realize that, let's take, I think, Subway, last I checked, I believe 12.5% of your gross sales every week go to the company. I want you to think about that. 12.5% of your gross. That's before expenses, guys. Okay? Now, I'm not saying anything bad about Subway. I think, listen, I don't know much about Subway. I've never been a Subway owner. I've done the research on what it would take and what the agreements are. And what I can tell you is that It tells them you're going to have to put in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. You're going to have to work about X number of years. And then the average, after all of that, after the cuts that you send up, and you have to buy their cups and their bread, and there's no, right? So yeah, you got a great system, but you're shackled a little bit. And you're still the small potato. You're doing better, but you're now restricted, and maybe 100, 150 grand a year, Subway says. Somewhere, I think 121,000 is the last average that I saw them publish. After all that. So is that a good way to do business? In some ways, for sure. You have a much better chance at success. But again, you're buying the system, you're buying access to the product, all of their stuff, which is great. You still get to go do the work, and yet you got to kick up to them this money. So we're almost there, right? Because we've got a proven product, we got a proven system, we got a proven plan. But what does it cost us? And most of us, remember, this is a pipe dream anyway. We couldn't go buy a McDonald's. We couldn't go get into a Subway, most of us that want to start a business, okay? So what do you do with that? No, now we're back to Buffett and Kiyosaki and the whole network marketing conversation, because network marketing is not a franchise. I want to repeat that again. It is not a franchise, and that's a good thing. What it is all those things, I'm not going to repeat it all, that I just talked about. How do we sum it up? The nuggets: proven product, proven distribution, proven plan of compensation, right? We have all those things in a franchise. Well, network marketing, the top dogs, the proven companies like the big brands in franchising that are doing billions, with a B, by the way, right? The network marketing company, billions, plural, individual companies are doing. I don't know if you're aware of this, okay? But I mean, one company, one of the top three, is doing $52 million a day. Not bad, $52 million a day. So we've got the product, we've got the plan, we've got the system all proven, but here's what you don't have. You don't have the startup cost. You don't have money into, paying to the company for every time they turn around and want a fee for this and a fee for that. No, you earn the royalties. You don't pay the royalties away. Okay? So it's like, for me and for all these experts that point this out, if everything came crashing down for them today and they were going to go back into business, they're not going to go get a job, they're going to go back into business, what business would they be in? They'd be in one of the top network marketing companies with a proven product, a proven track record, a proven system, a proven plan. All they got to do is work. They know how to work. What they don't want to do is waste time, money, energy, effort figuring it all out, and potentially even after that, failing and not making it. I didn't like any of those odds. Okay, so what I can tell you is, absolutely, when you do the study, I don't know why there's misconceptions about network. I guess there's misconceptions because of factual things in the past for everything we could look at, isn't there? And I guess maybe long before I was born, maybe people, and I'm sure I've read about it, right, where there were kind of sleazy people in the network marketing industry, maybe, Okay, I'll give you that. There's sleazy people at Coca-Cola today. There were sleazy people at Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what else is new? But wait a minute. But can you be wise enough? Can you be mature enough emotionally and intellectually to go get the facts yourself and look at what I'm talking about? That's what I did. I didn't believe all these people one way or the other. I had them talking to me, oh, it's great. Oh, it's just terrible. I went and got the facts. And those are the days where I had to go down to the library to get onto their computer to get access to go look it all up. And then print it off on the dot matrix printers. I did whatever it took. All we got to do is use your two thumbs after you watch this video. Go take 15, 20, 30 minutes. Dig in if you're serious about starting a business. You got to look long term. Listen, I'm 30 years down the road. When I started, I was 23, single, U.S. Marine, had the world by the you-know-what, right? Now 50, 3 children, married 15 years, right? Business, different stage of life. I'm telling you, I'm so glad I did the work up front. I did the research and due diligence, then I picked the right company, and then I went to work inside their proven plan, their proven product, their proven system. All I had to do was become better and better, build my skills, do the numbers, right? And then, of course, along the way, once you get successful, and this is another conversation we'll have together at a different time, but what happens when it starts popping off? And now you got some extra chili. Now, who taught you about finances? Who taught you about investing? 23-year-old Marine, grew up on the farm, right? You get to learn all of these great things. And they are great things, by the way. So there's so many lessons, but coming back to it, listen, guys, what I would tell you is if you're looking at business today, I'm just going to echo the great ones, the Buffetts, the Kiyosakis, and all the rest that have said, if I had to start again today, if everything got wiped out, I would pick one of the top network marketing companies and I would go to work. Okay? So I want you to just do a little research there. And, I can throw facts and stats at you all day long and blow your mind. Just go look a little bit. I promise you it'll be like me because the numbers are so much bigger now than when I first did this, like you might be embarking on. But go get educated, get the facts. And I absolutely believe it was the best decision I ever made age 23 to embark on business, to take that risk, to, get my toes in the water and begin this conversion from wage earner to entrepreneur, to business owner. Okay, number one. Number two, the research on the right company and the right plan so that you can really have something that you can build through. Looking back, guys, this thing is taking care of my family. I've built generational wealth. I've broke generational bad things happen in my family lines like poverty and parents not around and all these things because of building this type of a business and the freedom that it gives me. By the way, I'll close with that. The money we think sometimes is key, right? And I find that when I didn't have any money, I thought about money all the time. Like I had to have more money. It's like oxygen. I thought about money like breathing. Can you relate to that? I was there. I started there, okay? But then something interesting happens, right? When you get out of survival mode and you've got some extra chili and all that, the money is just one aspect of what kind of business I want. And I know for you, you might be thinking that the money can get you everything you want. And in large part, it's true. But the one thing money can't get you is time. And one of the biggest things I love, looking at I knew at year one, but looking at my 30-year career almost in this industry, I can tell you one of the things I love the most is that I got to build this thing around my full-time job. I got to build this thing around my wife and kids. So I don't know any other business, even a franchise, like you got to put in 80, 100 hours. Like you got to get, now I'm not saying you don't have to work here in what we do in this industry, but you get to decide what that looks like. You get to say, no, I'm going to be at my daughter's soccer game and I'm going to work after that this time, period. I'm not going to be gone during that. At a franchise, in a traditional business, when you're on the come up, you can't say those things or you're going to be sidelined and somebody else is going to take your place, unfortunately. And that would have been the worst decision of my life looking back today because I've built true wealth. The money, sure. The relationships I have with my wife, my children, the things I didn't have to miss then and now. Now it's like, you can own your schedule, right? But even on the come up, even working hard to build this thing, I was able to not miss those other key priority areas in my life. And I'm telling you, when you get a little gray in you and you look back, right, and you realize that you were able to build the kind of business where you took care of the financial portion and you were able to own your life and create your schedule, it's one of the greatest things I can ever tell you that's happened for me. We'll talk soon. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this content and you want to learn more about fitness and taking yourself to the next level, business and life, look for the link around this video, click through. You can get access to all of our great content. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button.